Hi, art historians. I would like to congratulate you all. First and foremost, we have completed week one of our course together. So, what I plan on doing in the beginning slash midway point of the week following the conclusion of the week before is my goals for that time frame is to basically have everything that's been submitted graded and to also post these weekly summary videos. I feel like it's one of the best ways that I'm able to continue my kind of somewhat personal contact via video, via internet, via halfway across the country with my students throughout the semester. So I hope you enjoy these. These are by no means required to be watched, but I would highly recommend that you do watch them because not only am I going to go over what we learned about, talk about the assignments, talk about some quizzes, question, confusion, but I'm also going to, give some shout outs to some people in their post from the discussion, as well as just general notes and reminders that may be really important for both the current week, the previous week, later weeks. So definitely tune in. I'll try to make them as fun as possible and include as many memes as I possibly can because I just find them so entertaining. So we are all the way done with week one. Now this was a little bit of a doozy of a week only because you did have module 0, technically speaking, as well as module 1. This module 0 stuff is really the introductory materials. Completing those is basically your attendance for this online class. So congratulations. So in module 0, I do want to thank you all so much for all the introductory assignment work that you did. That course ethics agreement is very important. Practicing use of Lockdown Browser with the quiz is really important. And the syllabus quiz, of course. I really enjoyed your choices for who you wanted to have a cup of coffee or tea with. So thank you for sharing. And to all of those who submitted your video introductions, thank you again so much for sharing. At this point in time, I have tried to comment on everybody's if I could. I apologize if I didn't get the chance to comment on yours. I am going to attempt to do so before the end of the week, but I am kind of not wanting to worry too much about falling behind in regards to grading for week 2. So just keep this in mind. Now, moving right along, we went right into module 1, and this one had 2 units in it. So our first unit was the Paleolithic era, the Mesolithic, and the Neolithic era. So these are all basically ancient origins of art. And this is basically some of the first examples of art ever. I mean, we looked at some really awesome stuff. And before we moved right along to Unit 2, Earliest Japan, where we've got some smaller items, but even a large-scale burial. And I really like the representation of not just the West in art history and including some of the East and other areas of the world that don't necessarily or haven't necessarily gotten the attention that they deserve in the past. So I hope you enjoyed. And now for discussion 1, I want to thank you all so much for sharing your chosen works of art and what you discovered. It's really, really interesting how difficult it can be to do one thing for 10 minutes. I am a multitasker by nature, or I am just impatient and always constantly on the go. Regardless, I really do struggle to sit down and do one single thing. I mean, even if I've got TV, show going on, I might be, doing work on my computer, painting, drawing, playing a game on my phone. I'm never doing just one thing. So I really appreciate you all taking the time to accomplish this and to really look and discover some new cool stuff. There were some definitely original and unique and even classic and absolutely wonderful choices. So thank you so much. And just to give a few people a shout out here, Rafaela, your Monstrous Pirouettes by Mirjam Vrieswijk. Goodness gracious, I can't pronounce that last name. I apologize. That is that an I and a J and a K right now? Yeah, that's exactly what that is. Anyway, that piece that you chose was super, super unique. It does remind me of an artist named Ivan Earl. He's one of my favorites. I actually have a print of his hanging in my home that I do love. But it felt like this was like him, but make it cubism, and I really, really enjoyed learning more about this artist. Lanisha, you had chosen a work by Salvador Dali, a dream caused by the flight of a bee around a pomegranate a second before awakening. Utter nonsense, just like Dali likes it. Obviously, this is one of my favorite artists. A very super cool and unique piece, not just the, normal melty clocks or elephants. So I appreciate you kind of broadening our horizons with something a little bit out of the box, even by an artist who is Actually, no, he's totally out of the box. They all are. Micah, I wanted to mention your Tongan tapa cloth artwork that was actually made by your grandmother. It's really, really special that you were able to share this with us, and I have a really deep level of gratitude for how you immediately incorporated your own family, your own culture, and art objects into your approach to this class. So I look forward to any further chances you or opportunities you have to do that again, because it was really special getting to hear all about it. And last but not least, I want to just tell Jacqueline, Garden Path at Giverny by Claude Monet. This is such a unique Monet choice. It was really pretty. The colors were absolutely amazing, and it kind of stuck out in my mind. So really, really cool choice. I enjoyed that. And now for our Unit 1 quiz, there were a couple of vocabulary terms I wanted to quickly cover. So first and foremost, what kind of construction is utilized in Stonehenge? Now you probably saw post and roof and thought that was it. Unfortunately, it's a little bit of a trick there. It's post and lintel, not post and roof, and so that's why mortise and tenon would have been correct there. Paleolithic artists often use a technique called blank to depict the horns of animals. So normally Paleolithic artists would show things completely in profile, like so, where you have just one side or a view of something. Now, everybody imagine I'm a bull, and that means I have horns. So if you're going to depict me from profile, I'm going to sit this way, right? Hopefully my back is straight. I got to work on my posture. So we're sitting this way, and now I've got two horns on my head. Now, I don't know if this is translating correctly, but technically speaking, if I'm in profile, like these artists often do, my horns are going to line up completely perfectly, and you're really only going to see one horn. Now, a lot of the bulls from the Lascaux Caves actually have a completely profile body, but both of their horns are shown in the picture. This is a twisted perspective, or a composite perspective. And last but not least, what vocabulary word includes 2 posts and 1 lintel as seen as Stonehenge? So that's 3 items there. That means a trilithon. Now, a frigidarium is actually something from ancient Rome that we have not even gotten to yet. Aubrey holes were in sort of like the rough draft preliminary planning for the larger stones at Stonehenge, and a megalith is just a really giant rock. So that's why trilithon would have been correct there. And for the Unit 2 quiz, 100% on multiple choice. Good job, everyone. Now, last but not least, I just have a few notes and some reminders that I'd like to, share. First and foremost, in regards to those note worksheets or just the worksheets, when you see the word patron, I've gotten this question a couple of times. That means the person, the family, the religion, the city, the whoever asked for that artwork to be made, also called commissioning an artwork. And it usually means and implies that they're also paying for it or paying the artist for their time, for the materials, whatever it may be. So that is what is indicated by patron there. Also, please make note that with your historical context and your formal characteristics, those sections should be quite hefty, while the other ones are a little bit smaller. So if you saw feedback from me or some notes about that, just keep it going forward if that's the assignment you choose to do. And of course, always check the Carpino Corner. I do put a lot of love into this whenever I can. I'm working on Art History Book Club right now, so stay tuned. But now my high school classes are starting, so I will try to get this out to you as a promise before the conclusion of our class if reading is your thing and art history is now your thing. So definitely make sure you check out the Carpino Corner. It's just stuff for outside of the curriculum, and it's just kind of fun. Also keep in mind too, with the modules, I've been trying to include my content introduction videos in the modules themselves, but technology is fighting back, but they will always be in the unit lessons. Now, just a little quick couple reminders of the 2 options. With each unit, you only need to complete 1. If you're not happy with the score on 1, you can submit the other to hopefully gain a higher grade and have that one be kept of the 2. Both assignment scores will not be kept if you complete both. And I do want to keep this formal analysis paper in the back of your heads. You have to see the art in person, and it's due during week 7. You cannot pass this class without its submission, and you will see some discussion questions that are going to prompt and plan and help you kind of get in the mindset for this. Just picking your chosen artwork for this discussion this week is already starting to satisfy some of the requirements and things that you're going to be doing for that formal analysis paper. So just keep that in mind and plan ahead if you can. You do need to see the art in person. I'm going to go in and open up this assignment for you all, so that way you have access to it now and can start to kind of see what your next couple weeks looks like and when you get the chance to check out some artwork in person. So, great job again, everybody. If you have any questions, please let me know. Check all your assignments for comments, and I'll see you later.